The evening had started harmlessly, almost with a spark of hope. A friend had just moved into a new apartment and invited us over. Warm yellow lights, music humming in the background, people talking over each other as they poured drinks and laughed too loudly. It felt like the kind of gathering that might reconnect us, even for a moment. I walked in beside my wife, Aisha, wondering if maybe this night could remind us of what we once were. But as soon as we entered, she slipped away from me as though the air itself pulled her out of my reach. I watched her drift through the crowd, smiling so brightly, her eyes warming in a way I hadn't seen directed at me in months. At first, I brushed it off. I told myself I was reading too much into it, that old insecurity trying to crawl back. I forced myself into a conversation, nodding while my mind wasn't truly there. My ears caught words, but none of them landed. Then I saw him, leaning casually against the kitchen counter. Tall, sharp dresser, easy posture. And Aisha was standing in front of him, laughing like she had been holding that laugh in for years. The kind of laugh that lifted her shoulders and made her reach out to steady herself. And the arm she reached for was his. I waited for her eyes to find mine, even once. Just a single glance to say, "I'm with you." But she didn't look toward me at all. She smiled at him like I didn't exist. She tilted her head, softened her gaze, tucked her hair behind her ear, the little gesture she once saved for me. Then she placed her hand on his shoulder. Not briefly, not accidentally, softly, intentionally. She stayed there, leaning in as if he were the only person in the room. Something inside me tore, not with a loud snap, not with fury, but with a quiet, final break, like a string stretched too thin for too long. The room around me blurred. My heartbeat thudded in my ears. I stood there, feeling like a stranger in my own life. And then it hit me. She didn't want me in that moment. She didn't even notice whether I was there. I set my drink down. My chest tightened, and in that tightness, a strange clarity formed, steady, calm, unshakable. Not jealousy, not rage, just realization. I walked toward the door. No dramatic exit. No confrontation. I'd spent years trying to decode her moods, trying to earn her warmth, trying to believe these moments were misunderstandings. Not tonight. Tonight, I was done fading into the background. My hand closed around the doorknob just as her laugh echoed again behind me, directed at him, not at me. She still didn't notice I was leaving. I stepped into the hallway, letting the cooler air slap my face. The weight in my chest loosened for the first time in a long time, even though it hurt. I began walking toward the elevator. Then I heard her voice, breathless, confused. "Where are you going?" I turned. Her smile had vanished, replaced with irritation, as if I were the one causing trouble. "I'm heading home," I said quietly. "You seemed occupied." Her eyebrows shot up. "Are you seriously jealous?" "I was just talking." I kept my voice even. "You looked at him like I wasn't even in the room." She rolled her eyes. "Oh, stop. You're overreacting." But to me, it wasn't overreacting. It was years of being unseen, years of being dismissed, years of watching her drift a little farther away every time someone else walked in. "You remember how to smile," I said softly. "Just not at me." Something flickered in her expression then, a flash of fear or realization. She stepped closer. "You're not leaving." "I already did," I replied. The word seemed to hit her harder than I expected. She reached for my arm, her voice trembling a little. "Don't walk out like this. We can talk when we get home. Please." But for the first time, I wasn't the one pleading. I wasn't the one trying to hold everything together with both hands. "We'll talk," I said, "but not while I'm invisible to you." She opened her mouth, but had nothing to say. No explanation. No defense. Just silence. I turned and stepped into the elevator. The door slid shut between us. As it descended, the ache in my chest shifted. Still there, but somehow lighter, softer, honest. Maybe it was the start of peace. Maybe dignity. Maybe the beginning of the end. But one thing I knew for certain. For the first time in a long time, I finally chose myself.